you wanting Claude to run parts of your business automatically without having to prompt it every single day? You may be thinking, I don't have time to figure out how to set that up, or maybe you've actually tried a few things and it still feels like a chat tool with extra steps. When I talk to business owners, they say they waste more time chatting with AI back and forth, and then the next day they have to do it all over again. They understand the importance of setting things up so it doesn't happen. But it just feels like there's so many things to it these days. What is the skill is the best to use? How do I install the skill? What is the difference between a GPT and a Claude project? Not only that, also which model is best for what task? Honestly, it sounds way too overwhelming, especially if you're new to this. I'm Ekwe. I built a GPT that replaced a 300,000 agency contract with no coding background. Today, I train teams on Claude and I run my business on a single Cowork project. Now, there's a statistic that says 56% of CEOs say they're seeing zero returns from AI, and the tools are the problem. The tools aren't actually the problem, it's the configuration. What I can tell you is the setup I'm going to show you in this video, it took me one afternoon. And when I first started, I was manually prompting Claude for every task. I was given the same instructions, but I was getting a very different output. It was so frustrating. I spent more time trying to understand where I was in the day before in the chat conversation than actually getting anything done. The thing that changed was finding the OS system, which is the operating system inside Cowork. It's not technical at all. It's a simple configuration that most people actually never reach. So in this video, I'm going to share with you everything that I did, the 3 components that make AI run my business while I sleep. So here's what happens when most people come into Claude Cowork for the first time. They type a prompt right here in this box, and then they get a response, and then they type another prompt, they get another response, and then they think, okay, this is what Cowork is. It's just a smarter chatbot, it's a bit better than ChatGPT. I did the same thing for a month. So if you see my chats here, look at all my chats with this guy. And then I didn't even have any projects, and I was doing this, and I was doing this, and I was doing this, and I kept wondering, I'm going around in circles. So when Cowork came out, and Cowork then had projects, I thought, okay, maybe there's a better way of doing this, right? Because all this while, Claude wouldn't know my voice. Every single session, I'll start again. And then the most frustrating part was I had to read yesterday to remind myself what I was doing. And then when projects came out, so these are projects here, down at the side here are all my projects. And you can see them here at a glance. And there's a setting in each project that talks about the instructions. So the one I'm going to talk you through today is content systems. And these are the instructions that I gave Claude. Now, these instructions is something I just used a voice app to dictate to Claude what I want this product to be about. And I said, we're going through a course from Sandy Lee AI, and this course is called AI Content Systems. There are going to be a bunch of skills that I add to this project. And what we're going to do is basically the course to build our YouTube channel based on methodology and how she's able to get from 0 to 10,000 subscribers in a couple of months. And now she's at 30. So I was giving him some context. I want you to keep everything contained. And then the key line that I gave this project instructions is every time we do a thing and we iterate, because you will iterate, which is to update and change how you're doing it, and we get better, we'll save that to the memory for the next task. Just one line changes everything, okay? So it's a very simple mental model. The brain, I'm going to show you the brain file. I've just shown you the product instructions, that's different. And then I'm going to show you the skill library and the scheduled tasks. Okay, so there's like layers to this thing. So you can see now this context here at the bottom, memory. Can you see how much memory I have accumulated? I have been using this product for about a month now. I started, okay? Now let's show you the first one, the brain file. So I go into a chat, let's say any of the chats here. So the beautiful thing about this is every single chat will load with the brain. So that's why the brain is important. Before, when I did projects in Cowork, I wouldn't even look at the Claude.md file. I wouldn't even do the brain. But here, if you go here, this is actually a bit because this is how I created this video that I'm doing with you. And can you see the instructions right here in the working folders? This is the brain file for the 8-agent content system. So this product not only has agent and skills and schedule tasks, it has all of the above. So I'll give you a quick visual of what I'm doing. So our goal is to grow to 10,000 subscribers in 12 months using Sandali 8 method. I have talked about the companion docs in this folder, the operating rule, and how to use this file. I've given it a role, and I've said this is the premise that that governs priority. Section 1 is positioning, is who I am, and the exact pain points that I have, right, with this product and my goals. The second is the voice and the operating rule. So sometimes you can even ask Claude to create this CLAUDE.md file for you. All this was not from my head. I actually went together with Claude and I said, this is my plan. This is what I want to do. Let's now create a CLAUDE.md file that every time I come into this project, Claude will load the MD file. So the brain file is the absolute, see how long it is, it's the absolute foundation for your product. And most people that I've been setting up Claude for, they skip this part. They maybe write the product instructions like I showed you earlier, right here, and they go about their business. They don't do the CLAUDE.md file, which is actually the huge component. So now we have 2 more layers, and the next one is actually where the real leverage is. Let me show you. Component 2 is a skill library, and where one word can replace 20 minutes of prompting back and forth. If you're watching this and you're thinking, I need to set this up for my team, I have a free resource that walks you through the brain file structure step by step. The link is in the description. Let's hop on to skills. Now, to get to the skill library, you go to customize and you go to skills. Now, look how many skills I have. I don't just collect skills randomly. These skills, they all mean something. Now, what I would love is if Anthropic created folders for these skills. But anyway, every one of these skills is a saved instruction set that I trigger with one word. I don't even retype the prompt anymore. I don't copy and paste on Google Doc like I used to. I say the name, the skill loads, and Claude knows exactly what to do. Why? Because the skill is very detailed. Now, this is packaging skill, which is how to package a YouTube video with a strong hook, thumbnail concept, and title before you even script. So this is a ton of all the work the skill does. This is a business ideation skill that I used to help a client of mine generate ideas for, she wants to use AI for ideas. Now you can see that all these steps in this skill, you can even edit it. You start changing things. Claude can help you. So you don't have to know everything from the get-go yourself, right? Another skill I have, if we just go SL, so all the skill that I use for that content systems product. Now, if I say YouTube scripts, this skill, right, that has everything in it, you will do the research, you will load 3,000 words of instructions, you will run research, you will pull audience pain points from real YouTubes, and it will draft the full script of the 2 words. I have another one for LinkedIn posts. This LinkedIn posts skill will generate posts from my YouTube videos. So you are repurposing and you're building a system. You're not starting from scratch every time. I spend, a whole half a day writing for LinkedIn. No, it usually takes 60 seconds once I've done the video. I have another one for competitor analysis, which is again under content systems. Again, this will do the research using web search to find real YouTube creators in my niche, will surface out bias, identify patterns. It's a lot of words. Now, this is the kind of thing that you don't want to be typing when you're working on a day-to-day basis. You actually want to do this as automatic as possible. Think about what your morning looks like now. You open Claude and you try to remember what you asked it last time. You type half the context and you hope, oh my God, this is close enough. Instead, now what you can do is once you open your project, you already have the skills in that project because you already told Claude in the brain file, you say 2 words and Claude will just create a report for you. For this one, it's my ROI for a client AI solution. That's what a skill library does. Cowork is being turned from something you use into something that actually does the work for you. But here's the thing. everything I showed you requires you to open Claude and say the words, right? You still have to show up. The next step, the component 3, removes that entirely. This is the one I mentioned at the top. So let me show you that with me. This is the component I asked you to watch out for. It's called scheduled tasks. If you come along to the left-hand side of your Cowork, scheduled here, click into it. It shows you all the scheduled tasks that you may have created. Now, every morning or every week or whatever period that you set, Claude will actually open a session. It will read the brain file. So for me, I created this weekly Trend Scout for that content systems project, and it's part of the. So Claude knows that this weekly Trend Scout actually runs in that project. Because before I was creating scheduled tasks, but I wasn't linking them to projects in any way, shape, or form. So I was having trouble marrying my scheduled tasks to my project to my goals. So this one, you can see that there's one coming up here today, and this has just come about 2 hours ago. You can see all the ones I've had here. I've been running it since 22nd June, and it runs by 6:30 in the morning. And if I've forgotten to allow all the permissions, which is very key, when I come back to my desk, I have to run it. So that's why it's important to give it all the permissions. And this one ran today. This one ran yesterday, or day before yesterday. I haven't even looked at it. Now, what this will do, it will give me an artifact. All these artifacts live here. But importantly, can you see at the top, it's in the project. So now what is happening is that project is growing with a ton of memory because I have linked the scheduled task to the project, to the skills, to the agent. And that's it. This is the report generated this morning. You can find them all here. And beautiful thing about this is all the versions are right at the bottom. You can click, see the different versions here. So this skill and this scheduled task and the brain are all connected. So here's what I want you to think about. Every morning, you may spend 20 to 30 minutes getting caught up to speed on your business. You set up context, you write instructions, check out the output matches your voice. That's an hour and a half a week on Saturday. No. Over a year, that's actually 75 hours. And that is almost 2 full work weeks just on context that a brain file gives Claude in 3 seconds. I didn't have to do anything for this. This literally all been set up before. I turn up and it's already there. Now, let me bring all 3 together so you can see how they connect. The system I showed you produces the same quality every time. And in fact, because I have embedded in the system to train itself to get better every time I tweak something, it's actually a self-improving system. Let's show you how all 3 of them connect. So if you're thinking this sounds really technical, I want to be very clear. I have no coding background. And I think that's what's stopping a lot of people. The brain file is a text document that I showed you. It has my identity, my voice, my roles. It's a foundation that everything else would read. It's called the Claude.md file. Okay. The skills are written in plain English, and then the scheduled tasks are set to the time prompt. Honestly, if you can write an email, you can definitely build this. And it doesn't take weeks. I used 1 afternoon to set it up. The brain file took about an hour because I was going back and forth to teach it what I wanted. And then the skill is about 10 to 15 minutes. Obviously, I got those from Sandy. I have improved it based on my use of it. And so each time I use it, I notice something and I say, oh, I want an extra this, and then it will improve it. The task literally is a 30-second thing. I want you to do X by this time. For me, is every period, just run a weekly scout through YouTube, and then find me good content that I can work with. You probably open Claude Fresh every session. You're retyping context, you're getting inconsistent output, and you wonder if this Cowork license is worth it because it's not cheap. So what I've showed you is a different way of using the same tool that you already have. Claude will know your business before you type a word. Your repeatable work will run with one command, and your morning will start with a briefing that you didn't have to prompt. So I came here and I just saw my whole task already. It's the same tool, it's the same subscription you're paying, but you're getting a fantastically different result. So I want you to drop a comment. Are you still prompting Claude from scratch every day, or have you already started building your system? I'd love to know where you're at. So those are the 3 components that I shared: the brain file, skill library, and the scheduled tasks. And I also showed you the product instructions, which is where most people stop. If you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, I want this for my team, I train companies on this exact system. The link is in the description below. And if you want to see how I built my skill library from scratch, step by step, click right here. See you in the next one.